Well, as President Reagan used to say, it's over. President Trump has ordered the transition to President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. Given the fact that he had poor legal representation, and that's probably a compliment given the way they've acted, no evidence, didn't come up with squat. They could have. They didn't know how to do it. Instead, they just shot their mouth off, everybody from Rudy Giuliani to the rest of them. And then, of course, as I predicted, the judges who protect their own interests will not stick their neck out, obviously papered over everything, pun intended. And that's the way our system is. And the sad part of it is that the majority of Americans are clueless. They don't know what lies ahead. They think everything's going to be better. It's not going to be better. We're now on the verge of a total socialist, if not communist, takeover. The looting, burning, maiming, stealing, and even killing are going to increase in the streets. The demographics of this country are changing radically, coupled with the lack of understanding and education. The country will never go back to where it was. It's not a situation like we faced in 1992 with Bill Clinton. Now, on the other side of the political spectrum are radical leftists of all stripes, radical blacks, radicals on the Jewish left, radical Muslims, radical feminists, radical LGBTQs, radical atheists. They're all now in charge. And mark my words, Joe Biden won't last 6 months. We don't wish him any harm. He may be the only thing left to prevent an immediate socialist takeover. As bad as he is, as brain dead as he is, he himself is not an ultra-leftist. But one morning, he's not going to wake up, either from his own poor health or somebody will give him something, in all likelihood, on the left, and that'll be it. And then you'll have Kamala Harris and the rest of them taking over this country. I'm a minority myself, but I got to tell you something. The minority that I'm from is so self-destructive. The Jewish left, and most Jewish people are not that way. There's going to be a tide of anti-Semitism that's rising as well, and that scares me, and that's why I'm speaking out. Because I'm a Jewish Christian. God knows where he's headed. He's destroyed many civilizations before and started over. It appears that we're going to get the same treatment this time. So either the American people rise up and do it for themselves with God's grace, or this country is over. Let me repeat that. It's over. And that's why I wrote my book. It takes a revolution, forget the scandal industry. Now is the time to wage a peaceful and legal revolution. Now is the time to hold the criminals accountable. Now is the time for the American people to use their God-given rights as we did in 1776 and take on a tyrant of the socialist, communist left. And if we do not do that, don't think about any future for your children and grandchildren, because there will be none. And there'll be no sanctuary in any place of this world, because it's the United States that props up the rest of the world. If the United States goes down, so does the Western world. I have to look at what's going on right now, and I see the problems that are resulting from COVID-19. I think they're overstated. In California, for instance, even restaurants are now shut. Everything's totally done. That's another effort to take the country down to ground zero, because once you do that, you can have complete control, martial law. Governors in California, New York, elsewhere have seized total control of the people. So we, the people, it is now the time to rise up. I want you to go out and get my book. I have a roadmap here. Citizens' grand juries. Let's try them and fry them peacefully and legally. We have a right even to do citizens' arrests. We won't do it with force, but we can certainly make it known that these people will be held accountable for the crimes they have committed against the American people and the country. So go out and it takes a revolution, forget the scandal industry. It's time to turn off Fox News. They are profiting hand over fist of what's happening, as well as other cable networks. Newsmax, a joke, run by a CEO, Christopher Ruddy, who gave $1 million to the Clinton Foundation. Two-faced, dishonest. They are not conservative. I used to write columns for them, a blog. 80% were censored. I couldn't get them through because they were too conservative or libertarian for them. So now is the time for our own education process of the American people. I thank Radio America, as I always do, for letting me tell the truth as I see it. The radio shows, whatever we can get through on social media with Parler, whatever, we need now to mobilize the American people. Trump blew it. Let me repeat that again. He blew it. He essentially lost because he acted, I'll use a kind word now, but I have another word that begins with an A and ends with an E, for 4 years. He blew it for the rest of us. He bears responsibility for this as well. I supported him. He did good things, but regrettably, people didn't like him, and that's why he was thrown out of office. Even Rush Limbaugh yesterday said that it's time to begin the transition. He asked, where is the evidence of massive fraud? It hasn't come forward. And you're getting 20 to 30 emails a day asking for money, which is a fundraising scam. It is so offensive. It's hard to believe that the Republican Party, a bankrupt party, would seek to make money at the expense of the American people like this. So here we are. We're D-Day. Time to initiate the second revolution peacefully and legally. Go out and get my book, It Takes a Revolution, and get it at Amazon.com. It's got 5 stars because I really thought it through. I just don't pontificate. I actually give you a historical perspective of what's been going on in this country in all 3 branches of government and how we can wage a second successful revolution to restore the vision of our founding fathers. I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast. Until then, remember that God is with us if we rise up and help ourselves, but if we do not, it's over. It's over. I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you for listening to me, and God bless.